Raising tuition fees and legislating the salaries of public sector workers. Those are two of the recommendations of a blue ribbon panel in Alberta. Premier Jason Kenney asked the 6-person panel to look at ways of cutting costs in the province. The government made the report public today. So how much of an impact could the panel's recommendations have on the government's first budget expected next month? The CBC's Aaron Collins joins us now from Calgary. Hi, Aaron.
Hey there.
We've gone over a couple of the highlights there, but break down for us what the report essentially concluded.
Yeah, well, pretty much one straightforward conclusion, and that's Alberta has a spending problem. And basically, we spend as a province more than anyone else in the country on pretty much everything. So, if we were the teenager of the country, we'd be getting our credit card taken away and our allowance cut. I want to give you a quick example. Think about healthcare. That's about 40% of the budget out here. And per person in Alberta, we spend about $5,000 a year on healthcare. You compare that with Ontario, about $4,300, BC, $4,400. So the idea, we're spending more on everything, and that's why we have these deficits that we're struggling with. If we could get those costs down to sort of the national average, those deficits would disappear, and maybe we'd even be in surplus. So that was the main point of this blue ribbon panel. And then, of course, 26 recommendations into the nitty-gritty of how to do that. Like you mentioned, everything from raising tuition to more private health care to freezing wages and, of course, lots of cuts.
What about a sales tax? That's always been the subject of debate in Alberta when they're talking about potentially reining in the deficit or getting it under control. Not a lot of parties have put their name behind that proposition, though.
Yeah, this is Alberta. This is a conservative appointed blue ribbon panel. It's blue. And this is a spending problem, according to this panel. And certainly that aligns with the government. And this is a government that's already cut corporate taxes, already cut the carbon tax, and is certainly not going to be on board with putting in a sales tax, even though that clearly would address the revenue side and sort of address one half of the equation here. But no, this was about pointing out that we do have a spending problem in this province, and that it's going to be obviously part of the run-up to the first budget for the UCP government in the fall, and I think we can expect to see some cuts and some trimming, to say the least, as that budget comes down.
Yeah, it sure will be interesting to see what's in that budget. Thank you so much, Aaron. That's Aaron Collins with that update for us in Calgary.